Division for Education and Human Research at the National Science Foundation, Dr. Jim Lewis. But thanks to the Metro, he's trapped underground right now due to a Metro breakdown. And miraculously, I got here, but like 10 minutes later, he got on the Metro and the calamity had already happened. So he is on his way. Hopefully, he'll get here in time to at least make a few remarks. But in the meantime, you have me. So just have a few comments, and then the teaching team has a few suggestions for everyone before we move into today's program. So I'm hoping that Dr. Lewis will get here in time. So first message from the teaching team to everyone is to keep the interview count up, try to keep the momentum going. The first webinar comes up pretty quickly. I know that people get back to their normal lives and reality rushes in, so that's really a key time to try to keep I-Corps for Learning at the top of your to-do list. And I will do the same to continue to try to expedite your awards through the NSF system, so you'll actually get your money. So deal? All right. And then one comment I wanted to make was to just applaud the various examples of creativity and inventiveness and entrepreneurial thinking and spirit that have happened thus far, and persevering despite the circumstances. So one example, I think some of you heard this yesterday, depending on what group you're in, but Amjad managed to get two $100 traffic tickets in the space of under a half an hour. One for parking in a no parking zone. You know, that goes with the territory if you're an entrepreneur. Luckily, they didn't tow the rental car. And another one for making an illegal left turn. So.
Can that be charged to the grant?
I would put that in the supplies category. And I hope I don't overstep and tell someone else's story, but another team had an interview that was canceled, so they went anyway. And this was Sandra Webster's team. I forget your, Bright. We'll tell you what, Sandra, why don't you tell the group what happened?
I'm sitting here when they're saying, if you don't have your 6 interviews tomorrow, you can't talk. And I get an email saying, I'm sorry, we can't meet with you today, we'll call you next week. So I said, Tony, let's go anyway. So we went to the place and we didn't find anybody, but we walked around until we did, and we interviewed head of another department, and then we walked around some more to find some students, and we didn't. So we found the director of sponsored research. And she said, sit in my conference room, I'll be right back. And she got the person I was supposed to interview on the conference speakerphone. And we did, I didn't count it as face-to-face, but I was in her space and she was on that phone, and we had a good interview.
Okay, so it looks like for anyone who cares, the orange line is running again, because we have Dr. Jim Lewis, who has made it to I-Corps, and is going to give us a few comments and perspectives from his point of view as the Deputy Associate Director of the Directorate of Education and Human Resources at the National Science Foundation.
Actually, I'm not sure if the orange line's running. I went outside and took a cab, but that was hard too. But, so I apologize for being late. I have been hearing wonderful things about what a good meeting workshop this is, and so I'm interested in spending my time listening to the first couple of presentations before I have to go back to any meetings. I'm in the Office of the Assistant Director, and I just want to say that we are very interested in I-Corps, and we think it's quite innovative. I hope you're pleased to be having one of the awards and hard at work. I'm told that y'all, this has been very much a working activity, that y'all have done a lot. And so I'm not going to waste time. I used to get bored at long welcomes and myself when I was in the audience. And so I'm going to turn it back over to John and say I look forward to listening to some of your presentations. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. So I was wondering if Carl Smith had a few things to mention to all the teams, and then we're pretty much right on schedule to go into our breakouts.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Jim. Wow, that was really brief. Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3, last round of in-person. Looking forward to your presentations. I want to thank everyone for taking up the challenge yesterday of getting out of the building, getting out of your comfort zone, going out and really working hard to get interviews. And as far as we can tell, almost all the teams have done that, at least 5. Finally, I really want to thank the teaching team, my colleagues. A few of us have worked together before. There's a whole bunch of people, a bunch of us who haven't worked together. Hopefully it looks as seamless to you as it does to us. And one of the things I'm most grateful about is, in the canonical, there's quite a lot of shock and awe, and some would refer to it as humiliation and abuse. And that hasn't happened. I'm so glad I didn't have to card anyone with the "don't be a jerk" card. So thanks, colleagues. Let's go hear what they have to say today, what they've learned.
Thanks, Carl, and pass things back over to Lindsay.
Okay. Yeah.
Anybody having trouble seeing? There's a pair of specs up here.
All right. So, details for today. We've switched it up slightly in 2 ways. One is that we're breaking into 3 groups today, so you'll have a smaller, more intimate experience. 2 is that we've switched up the instructor pairings that are with the groups. This is to give both the teams and the instructors some variety and to get you used to being able to communicate as if it's the first time with your technology. So as a reminder, teams will have 15 minutes each to present today. I do want to send a reminder. I know in our group yesterday, teams are doing a really great job with adding those peer comments, and we've seen those to be really valuable. So let's keep up that engagement and continue with that. So we are going to get started in about 7 minutes. If I can ask folks to find the room that they're in. So 36 through 42 will stay in here. 44 through 49 will be in Jefferson 3, which is around the corner. And 50 through 56 will be in Crystal 5 and 6, which is just before you get to Jefferson 3, around the corner as well. All right, we'll get started in a few minutes.